in 2000 and, I don't know, was it say 5? Thank you. I have an art dealer in Hong Kong. I should have said that she represents me too. Anyway, she won't know. She challenged me to make really larger works, and these to a larger series of monoprints, and to capture some of the sense of a Sumi ink drawing in these pieces. And so I had all these bits and pieces of handmade paper, and of course I was going to incorporate that in. And so I went back to the print studio and I started to be able to work really large. And I was really thrilled for all those years that I practiced really large gestures on the paintings. And here's parts from that series. And I wanted to vary the panels of handmade paper and never have to be quite the same. Shortly after this series, I kind of was at odds with my painting practice, and people have been asking me for years to write this book about the stuff I taught, and I kept saying, no, I'm not going to do it. And then I realized that, well, maybe this would be a good time to take a little time off from the studio and write this book. And so I thought it would take me a year and a half. I thought I could write in the morning and paint in the afternoon. No, none of that happened. Once I got involved with the book, it became an all-encompassing affair. And I actually took 4 years off to write and promote the book. When I went thinking, wow, I can't wait to get back to the studio and see what happens. And the first thing I did when I went back to the studio after publishing the book is I picked up my old friends, those 6-inch squares. And I also had some 6-inch by 12-inch squares, and I started working with them. But this time I wanted to play with the different. I'd already done 720 the other way. I thought maybe I should try something new. And so I worked in this new rectangular format. It was a great way for me to get started again. This is what prints do for me. It's this place it's like time out, time to play, time to sift through ideas in ways that I can't do on canvas. And the other thing I did, I said, I'm cutting a wood block. You know, cutting a wood block is a way to be really intimate with this image. You draw the image, and then you go in and you slowly, painstakingly, over weeks, cut it out. And that in itself is another act of meditation. And so I did, I also worked, I was with the leaves. I did these maple leaves. I had 4 wood blocks, and I decided to go to the print studio and just print them on different types of papers. This is an amazing Chinese paper that I found. Oh, I just in love with. And also on monoprints. And then take all this stuff, just make stacks of all these prints and bring them back to the studio and start seeing how they worked out. And here's other images in that series. So I have a whole series of these. There's one in our show here. And eventually, when I went back to canvas, I found when I was painting, this is the work I'm doing right now, besides the prints. These are on mylar, which is a polyester. It's like a translucent sheet of polyester, and I'm not working on canvas. I'm working with these really fluid paints, and I'm really exploring even more the sort of wonderful lines and gestures of branches, and the way light falls through a tree as the sun hits it. Simplify the composition. Right now, I'm not working on any backgrounds. I am just sitting and really enjoying a really in-depth exploration of the branch and the leaf. And here's a close-up. So it's layers and layers of paint that start making these things become evocative. This summer I was up at the Golden Artist Foundation. They have a great residency program up there. This is the studio I had up there. They gave me a lot of paint, which I loved. I had a great couple of weeks up there, and this is me at the end, smiling. Thank you. anyone wants to buy a book. And I'm also any questions. Yes?
Did you use black paint or black ink on those, the St. James by the river?
Oh, thank you for wanted to know on the James River with the landscape images. Those were silkscreened.
Oh.
And it's with a black, and no, they're not all black. You'll see in there. We spent a lot of time mixing. You know, I have never once used black.
Really?
All my colors, I get close to black. It's either, you know, black with a lot of blue in it or black with a lot of red in it. But only I know that. Any other questions? Yes?
What kind of paint are you using now on the Mylar?
On the Mylar, what kind of paint do I use on the Mylar? I use golden fluid acrylics that I kind of thin them down to where the goldens go, oh! But that's what artists are supposed to do. I push them as far as they can go. Yes?
With your collages, what do you use to
adhere them?
Yes.
Yes, my collages, because I don't do that at the print studio, I use photo mount. It's a paper that's impregnated with wax that is a heat sealing process.
You get a little iron?
Hey, yes, you know, I don't iron my own clothes, but I sit there and I iron monoprints. Yes. Any other? Because it's a way I can really manipulate it and make sure I get it really clean and straight. Any other questions? Yeah.
The Mylar is being used as ground, and are
Yes,
you later Mylar at all, or just a single sheet of the Mylar?
I use a single sheet of Mylar, but then it gets, I go to Lamont and it's mounted like photo mount, like photos. So it's a panel and frame. I don't want, and they do not have a sheet of glass in front of them. So they're treated like paintings.
Is there a piece here?
No. There's plenty here. Come to Washington. I have a show up in Washington, D.C. in April at Addison Ripley. It'll be a whole show of Mylar works and some print works.
Okay.
All right? Any other questions?
I thought perhaps some of the work was more developed about your changes in yourself and your life. I think I understand that great change with 9/11, change with your father, but can you say a little bit more about how some of these were inner reflections?
She wants to know how these works are. Everything I do is a reflection of my emotional life. I don't know what else to say. It's kind of like that's how I think about it and how I feel in that time. I tend to work in certain colorways that, like I'll work red for a long time, or I'll work blue. I pick up a palette that way. I don't lay out a palette of paint in the print studio or in my painting studio that reflects all the colors. I kind of go in and kind of get a sense of what it is that I want to work with. And it's always intuitive. And it's always based on whatever. I can look back and know what it's about, but at the time, I'm just doing it because I'm in it. And I don't actually want to know too much.
No question back to the Mylar.
Yeah.
That's flexible, right?
What?
It's very flexible.
Well, no, because it's mounted on panel. It ends up being a panel. It's not flexible.
And while you're working on it, it's already on the panel.
No, it's flexible. It gets on a panel after I work on it.
So you're working on a flat table?
Yes, my paintings, my monoprints, everything is done. I do more painting flat than you can imagine. And then I pick it up and look at it, and then I put it down, and I look at it. And some things I can do this way, but not generally. All the monoprints are done flat, as you can see in the picture. And 90% of my painting is done flat.
I've been doing monoprints for over 30 years, so I understand that. But I thought your canvases, you don't do those on easels or already?
No, on the floor, then up on the wall, then on the floor, then on the wall.
But I know they're tall, your arms are...
You know, I've learned to straddle a lot of things, man.